September's Stamp Around UK video hop. I can't believe another month has gone by already. But welcome, my name is Helen Jennings and I am based here in the UK in Northamptonshire, fairly centrally in the UK, and it is lovely to come on and join you for this month's video hop. And the theme this month is black and white with a pop of colour, which is rather exciting. Here's my website if you're looking for me. You'll find me under Love-a-Duckie.co.uk. Do head over and check out all the things over on my website. And do make sure to like and follow my YouTube channel. It would be lovely to have you along for the ride. So do that. Do like and follow and make sure that you don't miss out on anything that's coming up. But without further ado, let us bring in, hopefully, my downward facing camera. There we go. Okay, so on my desk, I have got a Christmas stamp set. I thought we would have a black and white Christmas card with a pop of colour. I love black and white projects. So this one was quite exciting. I thought, oh, what shall we do? What shall we do with black and white? Now, this stamp set is called Most Wonderful. I've actually got some of the stamps on blocks already. It's one of the new sort of style of stamp sets that Stamping Up brought out, that it's sort of, you can put all of your stamps onto your block and stamp just one big image if that's what you want to do. But then you can also split them apart and use the pieces as standalone pieces. So for this particular Most Wonderful stamp set, you've got the sort of banner at the top and the banner at the bottom. You've got this wreath in the middle. You've got this lovely, most wonderful time of year sentiment that sits beautifully in the centre of it. So we're going to break it up a little bit, but so you can just leave it all. It all sort of fits snugly together, and you can put it all together on your black block or on your stamping platform and stamp it as one big image. And that is rather beautiful, but it's also rather beautiful to break it up and use it in small sections. Right, I have a piece of basic black card here that measures 10 centimetres by 11. Now, I don't know about you, but every now and then when I cut black card, it goes a bit fluffy. So in my stamps, in my tools drawer, I have one of these sand erasers, and they are really useful if you do get those fluffy edges, just to run around the outside and take off those fluffy bits. So I've already done that. I've already defluffed the edge of my card. And there's something about the makeup of black card that means that of all the card colours, that's the one that is most likely to go fluffy well before your blade has problems on your trimmer with anything else. So it's useful to have that little tip. Just run something, or a little bit of sandpaper or something around the edge of it, because you don't want to be putting a new blade on if it just happens to be when you're cutting black card that you get an issue. Now, we're going to be heat embossing on here. So I've got my little embossing buddy. These are particularly with dark colour cardstock, and very especially with black. These are essential because what they do is that they dry up any damp, greasy sections on your cardstock that your embossing powder will stick to, because that's what it's made to do. It sticks to anything that's a little bit moist or a little bit sticky, and particularly in warm weather, moist and sticky might be you. So I'm going to ink up this wreath. So it's quite a big stamp. It is a red rubber stamp. Obviously, we've had news that the red rubber stamps are going to be going away. They have become a smaller section of our collection. We have far more photopolymer than we do red rubber these days. And most things, there's not many things that you can't do with photopolymer that you can do with red rubber. And photopolymer has come a long way when it was first released back in the day. And they can do all sorts of wonderful things with it now. So I'm going to give that a good press all the way around. And bring in my white embossing powder. So we've got the black card, we're bringing in the white embossing powder. I have got a fan on side of me, so hopefully we shan't lose embossing powder because the fan is on. Let's tap that side. Let's move it round this side. And then let's tap that side. A little bit of a flick. How's that looking? Ooh, just in that top corner. It's looking a bit sad. Not quite got bits just there. That's looking okay. I've got a little paintbrush just here. Just going to flick those bits off in the corner. Oh, there's a little bit missing on that leaf as well. Right, there we go. Now, before I heat that, I'm going to take my sentiment, as you didn't quite get in that bit with my embossing buddy, but there we are. I think we're okay. Let's take my sentiment. Let's put the lid on that for a minute. So I don't want to knock it flying. And let's ink up my sentiment. Most wonderful time of the year. And you can see, hopefully you'll be able to see that fits very snugly in there, and the sort of the outline of the inside of that wreath is shaped for you to sit that in there. Oh, before I do that, let me just give it a bit more of a dab. Hopefully. We could have heat set the outside before we went for the inside, but we're being brave. Let's see if that pays off. There we are. My embossing powder obviously gets used for classes and all sorts of things. So there is, I think, a bit of a hint in places where people have used white embossing powder and then clear embossing powder, and the two have got slightly mixed. So it looks sometimes a little bit patchy, but I think we've got all of that. So there we have our beautiful wreath and our sentiment in the middle. Let's heat that up. And I don't know how well it will come up on camera, but as the powder turns, it goes just a bit brighter and a bit shinier. And just taking that heat gun round the edge, not fapping it around, particularly not wafting it, just taking it round the edge, following the wreath round and watching it turn. Don't want to overheat your embossing powder, otherwise it will go quite flat looking. And you see just here where it looks a bit patchy, that's where I fear I've got some clear embossing powder mixed in with my white. But it's not anything wrong with the embossing powder. It is just that when it's been in class, it has got mixed up with some clear, which is a bit of a nuisance. Never mind, we get the general gist and the idea. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to take some Whisper White with some white craft ink, and I have put a little spot, and it probably doesn't show up very well, but I've put a little spot of the white craft refill into my palette just there. This is an old style one. It's been around on the scene for a little while. But do just the same with a new one. Just put a little bit of ink in there. I'm just going to add a couple of spritz of water to make it like a paint. And I've actually got a blending brush here. So this is a job for your sort of old, worn out blending brushes. And I'm just going round the leaves. Actually, this will help that. Where it's looking a bit patchy, it will hopefully make it a little bit more uniform. We're just going to go round where these leaves are and add in some of this watered down craft ink. So you don't necessarily need to watch me do all of this, but the general gist is that you're going to paint in all of those leaves all the way round. And then when that is dry, it won't take very long to dry, and to take, and I've got an old olive one here, but I've got a watercolour pencil, and I'm just going to go in and over the top of that whitewashed leaves, I'm going to go in with my old olive pencil and not colour it all in, but just add some green to the base. And I don't know how well that's going to show up. There we go. Now, you can choose to do every leaf. You can choose to do some, leave some. It's entirely up to you. You can play with that as you wish. Let's find one that I have played with earlier, because hopefully that one will be a little bit whiter. So hopefully you can see that around the edge of there, I've intermittently added old olive pencil, old olive colour to the leaves. And you might think to yourself, oh, I think that one needs one as well, and that's not enough just there. So yeah, as much or as little as you like. You can obviously choose to do it in a different colour altogether. So there's just that little hint of green in amongst that white. So to finish off this card, so this is going to be our main bit of our card, I've actually cut myself a piece of basic white, and this measures 10.5 by 11.5. So our card base, our black is 10 by 11, our white is 10.5 by 11.5. Let me just stick those together. I'm going to use a stamping seal just for quickness. Add that on there. And then I think we need a little bit of something else on our berries. So I have got here some of the loose gold sequins, and I've also got some of the gold trim. So there's the dual pack of silver and gold trim. So I've got some of the gold trim, and I've tied myself a little bit of a ribbon with that. So let's pop our ribbon on first. There's my blue dots. Here they are. Pick up a blue dot, and then let's add that ribbon on the top like that. And then I'm going to, I've actually got fine tip glue pen here. I don't use these very often, but why not? Just going to put some of these little sequins. Beat a gold sequin. Where did I just put that glue? Just there. Oh, no wonder that didn't look quite right. I don't think my white craft refill is going to do very much in the way of sticking. I'll put a few of my sequins in here. They'll be easier to pick up then. I do apologise, knocking you out. Very rarely use this as glue. I do use it occasionally to add a bit of shine to things. I added my bow first so that I knew where I needed my sequins to go. We'll have one more here, I think. Oh, the gold gives it a bit of a pop of colour as well. I'm going to put one up here, I think, rather than put that one back. Let's add it at the top there. Right, I'll leave those to set just a moment. The pin back in the top of the glue. I always think that the less you think about getting that pin in, the more easier it is to get it in. If you think about it too hard, it becomes far too difficult. Right, I'm actually going to do a square card for this. So I've made myself a square card from Basic Black. So I cut myself a piece of card that's 12.5 centimetres by 25 centimetres, scored at 12.5. So that equates about to a 5-inch card base, thereabouts. Put some dimensionals on the back of here. I seem to have small ones in my drawer at the moment. That's all right. Oh, his back's off. Stick them to one side and tidy them up at a later date, obviously. I think we'll have that going on a bit of a jaunty angle on the front there. So there's our card, black and white, with just a little pop of green on those leaves. Obviously, that's going to need an insert. So that's me. And a bit of basic white. I don't want thick basic white. I want some ordinary basic white. So our card base 12.5 by 12.5. So I'm going to make an insert 11.5 by 11.5. So a centimetre shorter on each side. And on this insert, I think I'm going to take this bottom piece. I might go with the top piece as well. We will see. Let's start with the bottom piece and some Memento ink. This camera is definitely keeps getting knocked. So let's just ink that up with black. So on the outside we have white on black, and on the inside we'll go black on white. Now, do I want to go with the top as well? No, I think I'm just going to leave it as the bottom. Just leave it with that simple black and white on the bottom. And white on black with a pop of green and some gold on the front. So I hope you enjoyed that project, and it's something that you might like to have a little go at. Just by laying down that watercolour wash enables you to add colour over the top. So whatever colour it was that you would like to be adding, you can add in that colour on the top once you've added down your watercolour wash. So a useful little technique to know about. So thank you for joining me. As always, with our Stamp Around UK, don't forget to head down below beneath this video in the description, where you will find the links for everybody that's taken part this month, and go and check out what everybody else has been creating in black and white with a pop of colour. I know I can't wait to see what everybody else has made. So that's that for today. I look forward to seeing you in October. Goodness me, where is the year going? But in the meantime, have fun and keep crafting.